request, and we heard you probably twice on this balance here. It's a wonderful program, and I'm fully supportive of your funding, especially there will be more project discussions. I'm not part of that funding formula, but hopefully we get that before the budget. Thank you, Councilor.
Any other councilors? For me, I know we are building new volleyball courts.
Yes.
And I know you were looking for schools to have indoor facility and start. Unfortunately, that's not a purview of the council. That would be something that the BOE would essentially implement. But is this time up or is this yes. Let me just finish my conversation. But I would love kids to, be trained in volleyball courts and anything. But I think, unfortunately, starting at elementary school, that will be something that the BOE will implement in the curriculum. But what we can't do as a township is support any community volleyball teams or build more volleyball courts outside.
Agreed. What I'm asking here is the outside that you have outside, it is open for all the public. So we are not teaching them. They come there, they are not fine-tuned. So we want a fine-tuning which we have to support through a proper program. So I'm requesting so that we have indoor facilities where we can have the training provided to them. So when we see outdoor, we have adults coming in and the kids are not getting the opportunity. So the training is not happening there. So we want to give a training.
Your time is up. Okay. So I understand what you're trying to say. You want some indoor opportunities. We can take this offline. I do have some ideas to discuss. Councilman Cohen.
Council President, I'm open to reaching out with Ms. Harris to Board Member Bira Patel. Perhaps we can have a separate phone call together to see what they already have in the past and what you're trying to connect. And if the VA agrees, maybe we can loop in recreation to get answers to what you're trying to accomplish and then find a remedy. I don't know whether you're organizational driven but we will listen and figure it out. I think it's a great idea. Thanks for putting the time in.
Thank you.
And I think there is an opportunity to rent out indoor volleyball courts through the school. Yeah, and maybe that could be an approach that could be used. Sonia?
Yes, it's on my. Just keep an eye on him. He's like, you're following him.
So we will have more opportunities to explore.
President, just want to make one point that I think he's trying to win the leagues and the competitions, etc. It's not only recreation, it will be more of the leagues, the way we have the football, the soccer, cricket. Those are the leagues. I think the badminton, the leagues not necessarily will be just within a few kids, but they will be across the Edison Township and eventually across different townships.
We can take this off. I don't think there was one of that one, but we can take this off. Moving on, John. Vasquez.
Joe 1729. For the work session, I asked several questions, and I'm back because several of those questions weren't answered, and several of the answers that I did get were just plain wrong, so I need to follow up. One, no one explained why the budget is a month late. According to local finance notice 2023-22, the 2024 budget was supposed to have been introduced by April 10th and adopted by May 8th. So the question is, why did Edison miss the deadline for introducing the budget? Does that expose the township to possible liability with the Division of Local Finance? And from what I've just heard today, there are consequences to that, since we found out we can't even approve a bond ordinance until we have a budget. So it's delaying a bonds bid that some people feel that Edison needs. Two, regarding the updated warehouse definitions, I was told, quote, we're working on it, but no time frame for completion was given. So my question is, who's working on the ordinance? What's the reason for the holdup, and when will it be introduced and voted on? Three, I was told that the recording of the March 11th work session was restored to the Edison YouTube channel. I checked, it's not there. So why is that, and when will it be put back up? 4, regarding bond ordinance 2224, specifically the Amboy Avenue improvement projects, the business administrator said there is no road resurfacing, but in the ordinance it explicitly says road resurfacing. So why is Edison proposing to resurface a county road, or in the alternative, should that language be stricken? 5, regarding not having a public advocate, the council president said, we are loaded up in terms of tools to fight overdevelopment. But in the case of 1039 Amboy Avenue, the planning board failed to use the tools available to it, specifically expert witnesses to refute the testimony of the developer's planner. So now, as a result, instead of the developer coming back with a scaled-back proposal, the planning board is facing a lawsuit that it might very well lose. So, since the planning board failed to use the tools available to it, and now is being sued by the developer and has the expense of litigating that lawsuit, my question was, and it still is, how are we better off for not having a public advocate? What's the advantage to Edison now that we see that our boards are not using the tools? What's the advantage to Edison not having a public advocate? It's a simple, straightforward question, and I'm still waiting for an answer to that. 6, regarding the repeal of Ordinance 01936 of 2016, which allows the 4-story buildings on Amboy Avenue. Anyone who says that
You're good. You're good. He's right there.
you have a belief and opinion of one thing, you say the word's towering, 8 more feet higher, it's towering over 3 feet. It's a really strong word to use. 8 feet more is towering over 8 feet less. Whatever you want to choose to do. I'm open to work with you to business if you want to. I mean, to say they shouldn't be included, or say that no one has reached out to them, or to say that it's their responsibility when they're working, 90 hours a week to take action in the community. I can tell you those who purchased the property on the block bought it with the intent to understand that this was the opportunity. Some bought and some inherited that opportunity. So, I mean, you're in a conflict of someone who's an investor and someone who's a resident. And you don't want to listen to both sides, and that's fine. You're welcome to that. But to say that, in your opinion, that investment development does not help a downtown would be wrong. It's factually wrong. I mean, there's studies out there, and I'm open to sit with you. Like I said before, I'm open for a healthy debate. You completely disagree, and I'm willing to work with you to see where we have a common road. But we haven't spoke to the business community. We haven't spoken to the young professionals. And it's wonderful what you've done so far with a few residents to bring people together was wonderful. But this is no different than the second question I answered, which is your public advocate. Your public advocate is for those who don't want it in their backyard, and there's a group of people who may not want to pay to fight that. So how, again, if you were to be the question you asked me, and I'll stop. But to comment on what you've asked so far, if someone was to come to the public advocate tomorrow morning and say, listen, I disagree with this building on Amboy Avenue that's 8 feet higher than it should be, and doesn't have the proper sidewalk to go down a block, and a sidewalk to nowhere, a sidewalk that I, in my opinion, would not want to meet the other residents across their front lawns. They just wouldn't want it. That's what I believe. Okay, we can go door to door on that. No one wants a sidewalk in front of their house. That's just, I believe. Okay? But if you want to go toe-to-toe with that, I'm open to it. But what about the person who may agree to have it? What about the person who owns a business on the block? How do you include that person in the public advocate? That person's for it, you're against it. Do you do a straw poll of how many people come out? I mean, what about the business guy who can't speak for himself? That if he gets involved on the internet, he gets bashed, and before you know it, people are beating him up over what he serves. I mean, business people don't post signs in front of their place. They don't get involved in the politics of the community because they want to be good neighbors. Doesn't mean they don't want to participate. And that's a fact. I mean, you won't see them put, a political sign in front of the place. They want to stay neutral. I've spoken to 4 businesses on the block. Joe, I love the 4 stories. I love the opportunity. I don't want to get involved because then they'll be beating me up on Facebook. That's a factual statement from people I've spoken to. Whether you disagree, it's up to you. I'm just saying, where do you find your odds in a public advocate for those in any neighborhood? Forget about Clark Martin, I'm talking about 35 square miles. Where do you get the part that it's the people who don't want it from the people who may want it? Where do you define that when there's 2 sides? Who do you pick? That's the question later on. And that's why I don't believe the public advocate is a good idea. I'll never support it. I think we've placed great people in good places. They've been there for a reason. It's been working. I think we have professionals in those areas, both on zoning and planning, that have done a great job. I only have the 2 to discuss with you. And offline, I'm always willing to have a fair debate on things. My challenge with you is you make an opinion statement, you say the entire public, you speak for the public, I have a challenge with that. You say you're speaking for your neighborhood and your street, I understand. Every time I hear from you, it's you speak for the public. I don't know what public you speak for. I'm confused because you never talk about the people who may want something. I'm at my dinner table, my son disagrees with me, just because he's at my dinner table doesn't mean he doesn't agree with me. We're just not making common sense out of listening to everybody, and I'm open to that. Until we have a factual understanding, I'm going to just listen to you and disagree. Because we have some factual input from others and to weigh this opportunity. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Councilman Coyle. Anybody else that would like to speak? Councilman Pato?
I just want to make one remark here, because we have the issue, and I share, some of those commonalities with my colleague, Councilman Coyle here. If you remember, and you can watch 2018 council meeting, 1039 Amber Avenue. I was a council president, I pulled that resolution because I never supported, it was not about the four-story, but it was about the redeveloper violating the local laws. That includes failure to widen Little Avenue because the 300 plus citizens live there. And Councilman Coyle, when I tabled it, you are the one who supported to table back then. Correct? No, let me finish.
Correction, 979.
Yeah,
I think we're going kind of off.
But it was more about,
What are we answering? I'm kind of confused.
no, I'm going to just, not defend him, but it's about the Tharabata, right? We had, and again, I was the one who supported back then, when we put that in redevelopment zone. But the fact doesn't change if somebody had bought the property hoping the
I
price
think
would
we're
go
going
up.
off on a tangent here, but if you have any answers for Mr. Bassoff.
Absolutely, because that's where, my constituency countered, and I want to make sure that, it is not about his speaking for a few residents. It is his opinion, I get that. It is Councilman's opinion, I get that. But there is a factual data behind the scene, people need to be aware what happened in the past, what is happening now. It is not about we making people rich here. There were people on the council chambers who oppose this, but again, I'll rest my case there. But again, thank you for your service.
Thank you, Councilman Bassoff. Anybody else? Yes. One second, let Council Vice President, go ahead.
Yes. Joel, to your question about the YouTube channel, I didn't say Edison YouTube channel. This is, I have pulled it up here. It's on YouTube. If you put in Edison Council Meeting 3/11/24, it's right there. It comes up right there. Okay? Okay.
Anybody else?
Council President.
Councilman Roger?
Yes, to the attorney, and this has come up multiple times, and the attorney's told us about the budget, right, that it's okay. And it's not just this administration, to be quite honest with you, the past administration, we got budgets in July or August. Okay, and I questioned them also, and they told me, like you did. But what I'm asking is, because I was reading it, and nowhere in there do I see how this could be extended. Could you produce like a documentation that we could read?
Yeah, that's actually, I was waiting for the council to finish speaking so that I could address a couple of those issues, and I was going to invite Mr. Bassoff to email the firm. I will sit down with Mr. Renone, something for the council, and for Mr. Bassoff, his position has been and continues to be that it is introduced on time each year. The administration's position has been that it's been introduced on time each year. There's a fundamental disagreement here with Mr. Bassoff's position that it's late or has been late for 2 months.
No, and I'll tell you why, because I probably read the same thing, and I went through this with the past administration. What I'm asking for is for the documentation, not like when we were talking about the thing about the quorum and all of that, right? But
Yeah, no. You want?
You gave us like a legal opinion.
Yeah.
And that's great, but that's not what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for your opinion. I'm asking for the actual verbiage, which you then sent me the documentation on that other case, at that time, which was
I think you said you would send it to you.
the document. Okay.
Yeah, we'll send it to you, and if it's not what you're looking for, reach out to me, and we'll talk about it, and we'll figure out if there's something more that we can do.
All right.
Okay. And Mr. Bassoff, send me what your specific objection is, so that I can make sure that I'm addressing specifically what it is that you're objecting to, what you're basing your opinion on, so that we can get you as clear of an answer as possible, as concise an answer as possible. The other thing that I wanted to address very quickly is, this is only part of Mr. Bassoff's statement with respect to the planning board and the litigation that they are currently involved in. I can only caution the council that if it is an active litigation against the township, it's against the planning board and not this body, that speaking about it or making any implication that you believe that the planning board failed to acted inappropriately, or did something wrong, maybe how you feel, maybe your opinion, it may be something that you're not entirely advised of and don't have all of the facts behind, but it would not be in the best interest of the township to discuss that publicly while litigation is ongoing.
Noted. Councilman Quinn.
Thank you, Council President. Just to address a couple of the items. Warehouse definition. The reason why I was okay with what I put up last year was because I had
and I'm not saying this to pick on you, but you argued against it, that it was too loose, right? I had others that said that it was too strict, which to me is the compromise as to what should be gone through. But considering that I'm not getting any budging on either way, I'm kind of at a standstill with where I'm at. Amboy Avenue, County Road, yes, but the township is responsible from the Turnpike overpass to the Route 1 overpass. So the resurfacing could play a role into that because we have that responsibility from the township perspective. On the public advocate aspect, you made comment of the litigation. I understand not to go into specifics, especially given my role, but regardless of any challenge which would occur on any application, if there were to be additional testimony, it's probably going to be challenged regardless. That expense to me is going to be incurred. One item in regards to a comment made on Monday, in regards to the public advocate referendum, there was mention about basing it off of the Orderville ordinance. What disturbs me and really just disappoints me is that what was presented before this council for consideration, and I know you know because you read it, both versions, they are not apples to apples. They are apples and oranges. So I'm a little disappointed to hear that what may be put forth is actually was not what was brought forth before this council. Actually, I drafted an ordinance that was probably more in line with that. It was just tossed out the back. So I'm a little confused by that. In regards to the 4-story Amboy Avenue, you referenced subsection E. I would recommend rereading the resolution and just you'll note that you're referencing the wrong subsection that the resolution referenced. And while I may have differing development philosophies than my colleague on the opposite side, I can personally vouch that I have had similar correspondences of not in opposition of the 4-story from the business community. I will not go into names because that's within their right to have that type of privacy, but to what my colleague said, it is not making it known. So that would be it, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Pointer. Any other council members? All right, as for me, I think a lot of the questions were answered. The legal counsel will get back to us. The definition, as Councilman Pointer pointed out, there needs to be work done where we can get essentially an agreement as to what should be moved forward. And that's where we stand. We don't have a timeline as to when that will happen. But when it does happen, I will put it back up. It is not something that we have forgotten about. The YouTube, Council Vice President pointed that out. The Wood Surfing Councilman Pointer pointed out. As for the public advocate, I can't see, I will reiterate what I've been saying over and over again, which is that it is just increase in bureaucracy. It doesn't really get us anything. If our ordinances are not clearly defined, no matter how well you can argue that, it does not matter. You are going to lose that case if we don't, as a body, define our rules better. And if we can define those rules better, and if we give the tools, which we already did, to the boards to fight those cases, so they have a clear understanding, then they can do this better. And the whole argument that the public advocate will fight for the public is clearly wrong in my opinion, because everyone sitting here is a public advocate. And we are the one who will be deciding who will become the public advocate. So it's kind of you're saying we're not doing a good job, but you know, when we get someone new, they will do a better job. It doesn't make sense to me personally. And I agree with many of what council members have said, that the business community would love 4 stories. But at the end of the day, I want to give what the Claremont residents want. But at the same time, I'm not rushing the decision simply because they want it now. I am okay to wait and get it done right. And I will leave it at that. Thank you, Councilman Joe. Anyone else?
Dr. Nasser, Pleasant Avenue. So forgive me, I'm a little tired. I only got 3 hours sleep because viewing tapes and doing a lot of research. Within one night of talking at the council meeting, I went viral. I woke up on Tuesday morning with multiple messages and tags on Facebook. For the last 6 years, I've kept my professional life separate from my advocacy side, and I will continue to do so. When I come up here, I'm speaking as an Edison resident. The public remarks portion of a meeting is a time for residents to say whatever they constitutionally want, so long as it legally fits the decorum. Just 2 weeks ago, the council had a lengthy discussion on decorum and what is allowed to be said. I made a little mantra for what you can say and what you can't say. So in an open meeting, if you can curse, then you can converse. Council President, will you please revisit the breach of decorum and educate the council members on how to speak to residents and when council members are allowed to speak? For anyone other than the council president to interrupt me or to try to silence or try to censor my First Amendment afforded by the Open Meetings Act and JS 10:4-12, that is an interruption is at minimum a breach of decorum, unprofessional, and possibly illegal. I'm thankful that the council president and our lawyer stepped in immediately. So let's keep it professional and let's start talking about the facts. Fact. I never stated that the discussion items are the only measure of what any council member does. I recommend that anyone stating otherwise rewatch the tape. Fact number 2. Clara Barton residents and myself have been on record and have questioned 4-story development in Clara Barton since 2016, when Councilman Coyle has consistently supported 4 stories. Despite our resistance to 4 stories, the council went ahead with the plan. Fun fact number 1. 4 council people that served from 2015 to 2019 did not get reelected. Fun fact number 2. One of the council people at that time that had the ordinance passed is now on the planning board. Everything that matters to Clara Barton is in the hands of the planning board. That's the resolution and the master plan. Fact number 3. During the planning board meetings, the chair admitted that for some reason or another, the 4-story building resolutions and development has not spurred the development that they thought it would from the study. Did you know that this resolution did not occur until 4 council members voted to send a 4-3 resolution to the planning board? It's quite strange. Did you know that for 2 years that the public comment portion had Clara Barton people talking about how they did not want the 4-story building height, and they did that in big numbers. But the 4-story language does exist. It's very strange. Fact number 4, the J Dynasty is going for a premium with the 4-story allowance. The council Coyle is involved in any capacity
It's been warned numerous times, it's time for me to go. Good night. Good night. He's had ample opportunity to comply with it.
That's not true. That's your perception. That's your false perception. Violating deprivation of rights under color of law, conspiracy to deprive rights under color of law. Sergeant Jackson told me outside if I take my mask off momentarily, I'll be allowed to speak.
And you didn't take it off?
I did take it off. I did take it off. It's recorded that I took it off.
You keep it off to speak, so no.
Absolutely disgusting. You guys just violated my rights. I chose to walk out.
You have to leave the building.
Number one,
You have to leave the building.
After I make my statement, I'll leave.
No, you have to
but
leave
I
the
don't
building.
I don't
You have to leave the building now.
I-
Leave the building now.
You're gonna
Leave the building now.
You're gonna continue to violate my rights?
Leave the building now. You were advised to leave. Leave the building now.
When you're kicked out of the council meeting, you don't have to leave the building. You just have to leave the council.
I'm telling you, leave
just
the
have to
building
leave the
now.
council meeting room. This is complete out of the ordinary. And what I wanted to say is I was gonna leave under my own free will. I was gonna leave on my own free will. Each time I chose to leave, even though by law I don't have to leave, I chose to leave. So reading the story
let's
today,
go.
I read the story today, St. Moses the Black,
Come on.
and so that's why I chose to momentarily sit down. And now that I made that statement, I'll get up and I'll leave. There's no harm, there's no foul. And this is a civil rights violation that I will be.
Time to go.
I want to do an internal affairs complaint on for taking me out of the public building. I want to do an internal affairs complaint on for taking me out of the public building. I would like to do the report right now.
You know the procedure.
I would like to do the report right now. Any officer in this state of New Jersey, any officer can get the report at any time. I'm asking for.
So you want my supervisor?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Stand right here for a second.
Officer, I was gonna walk away like I did the first time, man. What's this, bro? The first time I walked away, I was in the process of walking away for a second time.
Yeah, no.
It's my right. It's Officer Sinclair. It's my right. I didn't have to walk away. I chose to walk away because everything's being recorded. So this way, it's shown that yes, my rights are being violated. I don't understand why it's a continued escalation all the way out of the building.
Just wanted you to remove the mask.
I did. I did.
Completely off.
No, I did. No, I took it off. I took it off completely, and then I put it back on. We agreed. We agreed.
Not me. I didn't agree.
Sergeant Jackson told me. You might have been out of the room, but Emma had and Sergeant Jackson did say that, and I have it recorded. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you might have been walked away momentarily, but Sergeant Jackson did tell me that. We had it agreed. We had it agreed upon that once I took off my mask, I can put it back on and continue speaking. That was literally what we agreed upon outside.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I even opened my bag after speaking with Captain Rizzo. Even though I didn't want that, I even opened my bag. I really don't understand, man.
Yeah, they have a policy in there, that's what it is.
No, there is no policy, and you don't know the policy.
You're right.
You know, and that's wrong. And they're taking advantage of you guys doing this. You know? This is wrong, completely wrong, Officer Sinclair. Because I read the story today of St. Moses the Black, you understand, he inspired me to walk away. There was no reason to keep fucking with me, man. And for the chief to say there was ample opportunity, I'm allowed to ask the question, what law? And then walk away. What is so fucking wrong, man? So it's not the mask, it's not anything I say, it's my mere presence, bro. It's my mere fucking presence. And that's wrong. You know, after speaking with Captain Ravel, I thought everything was going to be okay, man. I really did. And you saw my change. You saw. I really don't understand.
Christos, as per the chief, you can do the IA complaint tomorrow. You have to leave the building.
I'm not inside the building.
You have to leave the property.
Make sure he
You're
doesn't lock
gonna
us out.
trespass this on public property?
Christian.
You have to leave the property. It's gonna, Christos, I'm advising you to leave the property because you're being told to leave the property, so please, leave the property.
I'm going to, I'm going to, I promise.
Do the IA complaint tomorrow. You have my, you know my badge number, you have my name.
Come talk to me, come. It's fine, you can stay right here, that's fine.
At least for some wind. The wind is nice. Got a lot cooler.
Stay on, yeah. Alright. Let's just walk closer. Just slowly walk.
Kristen, you're informed you have to leave the property, so please.
I am leaving the property.
Okay. It's just you're not.
Why are you guys escorting? There's no law. First of all, I haven't been served a trespass from a judge. Did a judge serve me a trespass? Am I trespassed on the public property?
We don't want to escalate.
No, you are escalating. You are escalating. You keep engaging in me with me.
No. You were asked to leave, and we're kindly asking. We're not trying to escalate.
You asked me an unlawful. Is there a letter from the judge that says I'm trespassed from this public property? First of all, you can't remove somebody in Woodbridge Township when they remove someone from the council meeting. Okay, they're allowed to stay in the building. So how is it? How does the laws change from town to town?
Kristen, we just spoke over there. We were in agreement. Everything was good. We don't want to escalate this. We want to keep
You are escalating with me because I'm just recording, standing what's going on. I'm not near nobody. I mean, how far off the property do you guys want me to go?
Crystal.
No, answer me that. How far off the property? Look how far this is.
Okay.
Look how far this is. I can't fly. How far off the property do you want me to actually go? How far off this public property that belongs to me do you want me to go?
Alright, we're good here. That's right. Turn off. He's off the property.